All right, it's me again. I remember there was this country song that's called "Hey, It's Me Again, Margaret" or something. It was basically like about a stalker, and it was just funny because we just kept on saying "It's me again." But anyways, yes, it's me again. I'm hopping on here over and over again throughout the day rather than having one continuous show because, to be frank, I have an infant and I'm like trying to get in nursing and playtime and naps in between these interviews. So so that's why I did it like this. I'm doing them in separate segments as opposed to a full show until I can figure something else out. But also the background on this is I had booked out my show for the week and I was doing it one way and now I'm having to go in a different direction, doing everything back to independence with no controls, restrictions, or anything. That is the way that I feel most comfortable until I see if there's a different situation that will support that kind of independence and liberty way of doing things. So, yes, that's why I had to split up like 5 interviews, hop on and off here throughout the day. And and we're just, thank you for rolling with it. I have one more interview today, and then you'll get a break from me tomorrow. Tomorrow I have a lot of other things going on, so you won't see my presence tomorrow. But I'll pick it back up on. I have a plan to pick it up on Thursday and Friday. So, yeah. Thanks for rolling with me. Well, hello, Mooch, Fremont, Ohio in the house. Good to see you. One thing I do like about going live is I can see some people participating. I really wish that some of these platforms didn't hide me so much. Well, we're going to have to figure out the algorithm and figure out how we can reach more people. But I was told that if you aren't like active for a while, then they won't push it out to as many people. So maybe with me hopping on and off throughout the day and in the days ahead, maybe, just maybe, these platforms will allow more people to see me. We'll see how that goes. All right, well, let's cut to it. So I've done a couple news segments today, and I always like to bring it back to personal health because there's so much chaos going on. There's so much corruption going on, and we can talk about it. We can get angry, and that stresses us out, and that affects us mentally, and that hurts the immune system. It's all connected. And what we're up against. In my last interview with Emerald Robinson, we were talking about you just don't know who you can trust anymore. And so we can't put our trust in other people because we don't know if they're going to come through for us or if they're going to let us down. So it really comes back to your homestead, the people closest around you, and particularly you yourself, taking care of yourself. So I'm so excited to introduce to you, if you've never seen him before, the president of rncstore.com. And he was actually motivated by something that happened within his family. And I'm going to let him explain that. And we'll keep it brief today, but I'm sure we'll be having him back on in the future. But welcome in, John Richardson. Here we go. See, I'm doing all of the things on my own. So we'll see how this goes. But, sometimes you have to rely on the people you can rely on. And sometimes that's just yourself. So I'm working on that right now.
We're all in this together.
Yes.
You and I talked about that prior. We're all in this together. So we're supporting each other, and Christina, my wife, and I are big fans of yours, and we will commit to support you because we know you're a patriot, you're a truth teller, and we're in this mission together. And some of the things that are going on, or you question, what is it going on? But we just got to keep getting up every morning and fighting the good fight, because we know we're not the type of people to just let lies persist. We want to get the truth out there. So that's my mission every day. Every day I wake up, I just want to tell this story again. So it's very much of a pleasure to get on here and update people on what's been going on.
Yeah, and we're going to be diving into that in just a moment. But you did, just as you were talking, remind me of something. Another friend in the truth-telling business, Tracy Beans of Uncover DC. I was just listening to her show the other day, and she played this segment of a guy that was asking people questions, and he was like, would you take $10 million for this or that? And they're like, okay, would you take $10 million, but you would die the next day? And of course, everyone said no. And he said, well, what does that tell you? That tells you that your life, you're just waking up, is worth more than $10 million. And it's just, it's such a simple story or something to compare it to, but that's so true. I think so often when we're faced with all the corruption and chaos surrounding us, when our own lives are upended. It's so easy to get down. But if you remind yourself that, but I would still wake up the next day and I would do that over accepting $10 million, it just puts everything in perspective. But as far as attacks, you come from a family that has been attacked. Particularly, your dad was very attacked, and again, we are on some of the protected censorship platforms, so we may need to use some code words to explain your story, just so that more people can see it. But tell us briefly what happened with your family and what you were trying to do was ultimately for a good cause.
Yeah, it's my father back in the 70s discovered the answer to a serious disease. And we won't mention what that disease is on here just to keep us from being ejected immediately. But people can imagine what that disease is. And now it's even, they call it the turbo thing. So it is something that's really affecting people majorly now. But my dad ran into a gentleman named Dr. Krebs in the Bay Area who introduced him to this material a nutritional supplement that helped people tremendously. My dad treated over 6,000 patients in his practice back in the 70s, and he was having tremendous success. And he introduced the subject to his good friend G. Edward Griffin, who wrote the book World Without the C Word. He also wrote the book A Creature from Jekyll Island, which anybody like the people that we know that are big time famous truth tellers like Alex Jones loves G. Edward Griffin. And G. Edward Griffin was my dad's close friend. He wrote that book, Creature from Jekyll Island, at my house as a kid. So I've been in the truth-telling business ever since I was a little kid. My dad made me a life member of the John Birch Society as a newborn when I was first born. So he made that investment in me. So it is interesting how it's come back around. But what recently we found is we found a vault of material back from the 70s, so much material that we've had to hire 4 people to help us go through it. And that Dr. Krebs I just mentioned, who came up with this substance called B17, I don't know if that'll get us banned or not.
No, I mean, it's a vitamin, so I think we can speak
vitamin. It's
found
in it's found in 1,200 different foods. We're not going to say what it's intended for. Your audience will have to look at that. But if you can imagine Dr. Krebs, we found his diary with his handwritten in pencil notes back when he was studying patients back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. We found his handwritten journals in the material that we found, like a container full of this material that's been hidden, that's been censored, and nobody knows this exists. And so we're actively screening this material and adding it together. And this is the kind of book we found too, and I'll cover it up. One answer to that word that we can't mention,
yes.
But it's a whole book of information about what my dad did. And I have never seen this. I'm 59 years old. I've never seen this book till we just recently found it. And another little booklet of that I got to cover up the word. I'm letting people know that this is available. We're going to make this available, but on YouTube, if we mention this sometimes, you can get banned. So this is information that people need to find out. And we're discovering stuff from the 70s as we go. Like literally when I walk in the morning, that's how excited I am, Christy. As I walk in the morning, I find another thing. I found an autographed copy of my dad's book. It's called, again, I'll cover up part that's bad. It's called Laetrile Case Histories, the Richardson C Clinic Experience, where he took 70 of his most amazing cases out of his 6,000 people he treated and told the world about it. And what did he get? He got sued. He got taken to court. He got his license removed and he got arrested. And that's what started this whole thing in the 70s to get it tested and studied and things like that. And even after the studies came out and they came out wonderfully well, he still got shut down. The study still got censored. And so all this truth that we are now rediscovering, we're going to bring it out and spread it far and wide. We're not going to keep it to ourselves. We're spreading it everywhere we can. I'm on other podcasts with people, and I'd be happy to send you the material too if you're interested. We want more people to know about it because the truth has been known for 50 plus years. The book that G. Edward Griffin wrote called World Without C Word, that's right over here, is selling more copies now in a week than it sold when it was originally published, and it's 50 years old this year. It's still just as timely. He was just on the Alex Jones show with Alex Jones, and they talked about the book and the excitement developed from that. It was he got millions of views on that little podcast, and this has been known 50 years. It seems like old news, which it is, but now it's coming back around because people have seen what they did to us with this jabby jab, and they know that we've been lied to, and for bad reasons. So the answer to the other C word, not the one that with the numbers on the end of it, but the other C word has been known, and we know it. And that's the good news. Nobody.
Well, and I mean, that's just the thing, John, is that I think that you mentioned that this book is now selling more than ever, but I think it was easier for people to write things off that the mainstream, if you will, or the big medical industrial complex spoke against. It was easier for people to trust them, and any suggestions otherwise they would tune out to. But since we all endured 3 years ago, this essentially mass lie campaign, it opened up a lot of people's eyes, and now they're questioning everything. They're questioning, well, what else have we been lied to about? And this is a major one. And you would think that after decades and decades of supposed campaigns and fundraisers, and you got Komen and everything else, that they would have made some progress, wouldn't you? But we're seeing the opposite of that. We're seeing these cases come up even more. And it's so sad that John and I are sitting here trying to have a discussion that on what can we look at? What can we do to help more people? What can we do to save more lives? And we have to speak in codes and walk around the subject, but people, I think, now are trained to decode the message. But it's sad that it's come to that, because ultimately we just want more people to know the truth of what can possibly make them better. Now, as far as the apricot seeds, because I think we can say that, which is where you can find this vitamin in a high potency, if it is my understanding. Yep. Are there other things that addresses other than the elephant in the room? Are there other things that's good to make sure that you have on board?
Yes. Well, one of the things we want people to know is that it's not just for that forbidden word. Eating the seeds, God made the seeds. And I actually have a quote that we're putting on the bottom of our packaging now, and I should have it memorized, but this is a quote from the Bible, Genesis 1, verse 29. And God said, "Behold, I have given you every plant yielding seed that is on the face of the earth, and every tree with seed in its fruit. You shall have them for food." And we've rediscovered that seeds are the most healthy things we can possibly do. So apricot seeds, apple seeds, peach seeds, the seeds on the side of strawberries, lima beans, millet, barley are all foods that are chock full of amygdalin, which we've cooked out of our diet. Because if you cook a water-soluble vitamin like vitamin C or vitamin B, if you cook it for 350 degrees for 15 minutes, you completely destroy the vitamin. So it's cooked out of your diet. So there is other things, but the reason we sell apricot seeds at rncstore.com, the reason we sell apricot seeds is because they have the highest concentration of this vitamin, amygdalin, that was discovered to do all sorts of wonderful things. But grow hair. It's great for breathing. It's great for pain relief. It's great for heart and lung function. It's great for all these things that have been studied, but are not quite so horrible as to come up with a reason to ban it. Now, the reason, and it's really not banned. You can buy it on Amazon, which we don't recommend because you're supporting the guys that we don't want to support. But you can buy it all over Amazon. You can buy it all at your local. I just was at Seed to Table in Florida, and I can't remember the town in Florida. I know that's where General Flynn lives, and several other patriots live in that area. But I was just at Seed to Table, and we have it for sale at Seed to Table now, our products. So these are things that are readily available, but you've got to be careful. You don't want to present to people that it's a cure for anything or it's a treatment for anything. It's just a supplement, a vitamin, a food source that we need in our diet. And it's been proven, Christy, like not just conspiracy theory, tinfoil hat, like everybody calls it when you say they've covered this up. It's been proven that they've known the answer and they lied about it in the 70s. And are they continuing to lie about it? Not as they're not doing as good a job because we find the truth in other ways now. But in the 70s, they were able to control like 3 or 4 media sources. So when Sloan Kettering did a study in the 70s that we recently found this book all about Laetrile in the study of animals, we're not talking about what they were studying about. These are the actual handwritten notes by the most famous doctor at Sloan Kettering in the 70s that was there testing this and proved that it worked like 29 out of 29 times. Only the final time when the people in control of Sloan Kettering said, we don't like these results, they brought in another doctor, tested it one more time, and they found out it wasn't effective. But a doctor named Dr. Moss was there. Ralph Moss was there at Sloan Kettering in the 70s, and he wrote a book, this book, and he's got a little talk about the controversy happened at Sloan Kettering, and he made a movie called The Second Opinion, the cover-up of Laetrile at the Sloan Kettering Institute. Now, will we be censored for saying these things? It's possible, but you can still search that movie on YouTube. It's still found on YouTube. You got to type in it exactly like it is, and you'll find out that this information has been known for 50 years. The same product that you can buy at rncstore.com and other locations that they proved that worked in the 70s. It has been proven over and over again, but they were able to censor it. And so we want to make it, Christy, that we get this information out and help people and help grow our side of the ledger so that we're not, we're fighting against trillions of dollars, but as we can tell the story and get people to buy the product and put it in their life, we can not only help people, but we can help keep our truth message going out there. So that's basically as straightforward as I can tell people why you want to buy it at rncstore.com and use the discount code KL for Christy Lee. The reason you want to do that is to support both our mission to tell the story and support your mission to keep telling the truth. So it's not up for debate whether it helps people and whether it's nutritional and the best form of seed. I know everybody has so many different options of what vitamins they can take. This one has been proven to be effective, or at least in controlling bad diseases. So we can, people are going to have to cut to the bottom line. They can go to our website. We also on our website can't mention, we have to be very careful and say it's not, it's never been approved by anybody, and it's not, we can't say any of that stuff, but we can tell the truth, and we can get people to look into it further and get the information on their own and do their own research. So that's what we recommend people do.
Yeah, and I'm going to actually pull up your website just so people can check it out. This is what you'll see. It's funny, John, because earlier today we were talking about the RNC, as in Republican National Committee. And so we don't want to confuse the two. I'm having trouble with there we go. We don't want to confuse the two. This is RNC, Richardson Nutritional Center. Is that what it is for?
Yes, it is. Richardson Nutritional Center. That's the name my dad came up with in the 70s, early 70s, because his patients would go home to whatever store whatever the state they were from his clinic in Albany, California, and they'd need the product. So I helped run our little store back then. There was no internet. We just did mail order or phone order. And we would, once they went home, he would ship the product, or if they went to Mexico, like many stories there's thousands and thousands of stories of people that have been helped by this, and we're not saying it cures anything. We're not saying it treats anything, but we're saying that there's been thousands of case histories, and the studies are there, that we want to make it available. So we're very careful when we're making it available. You see the words on the books, but we don't use it to recommend for anybody that's got a specific disease, and we're not doctors. We're just suppliers of the product, and therefore we're growing in information's sake, and with I wouldn't call it notoriety, it's not the proper word. We're growing in legend for people to be able to get it, and we like to spread it to other people that are selling in Hawaii or wherever else, because there's nothing wrong with selling it in the United States. There's nothing illegal, even though you'll see that some places been made illegal. It's only been made illegal to use it, to promote it as a treatment for a disease. Just like Dr. Eric Naputi was sued for $500 billion for recommending vitamin D to treat COVID. I can say that word. He recommended vitamin D, but he won, and he won so convincingly, Christy, I don't even know if you heard this, that he's able to promote vitamin D as a as treatment, as long as the vitamin D has been tested and doesn't have any poisonous properties. He can promote these things as treatment for the immune system, helps your immune system, help you fight off disease. So we are winning these little battles. And so we all just have to remember, let's not promote it as a treatment for any C word. Let's promote it as a supplement you need to help your immune system. And I recommend everybody be doing it, whether you buy from me or whether you get it on your own, you have your own tree, or you buy at your local grocery store. I recommend everybody be consuming at least 100 to 200 milligrams of B17 every day. Don't wait till you have an issue. Do it early. My wife will tell you to do 500 milligrams a day, and she says it makes her hair grow longer, makes her skin better. She's has so many wonderful things that she's gotten from taking 500 milligrams of B17 a day, that she recommends it to everybody, whatever their situation is. So.
Yeah. And again, you can get it at rncstore.com/KL, rncstore.com/KL. Use the discount code KL when you make your purchase. And there's so many different ways that you can get it. You can get it from the raw apricot seed, and it is going to have a bitter taste. It's not something you want to sit there necessarily and snack on, but we just put that out there. We tell you the truth about everything. But you can do it that way. You can do the pill. And I think you even have some other things in the work. There you go. But he told me the truth. He says it is bitter, but you get it down and it's good for you. I want you to give me the website again that people should check out on YouTube. Again, that platform isn't known for necessarily letting you see the information, but you do have to type it out specific. So I wanted to put that in a banner so that people can jot it down. What is that website again?
It's called Second Opinion on YouTube. It's not really a website. It's the name of a video.
Yeah, that's
Second Opinion, just like it sounds, the Sloan Kettering Laetrile cover-up. I'm speaking to the son, Dr. Moss, Ralph Moss. He's still alive, by the way. I'm speaking to his son tomorrow. I'm not trying to get him to promote anything we're doing. I just want to give him his dad's history and my dad's history. We're just talking. So it's not like he supports anything we're doing, but his dad wrote this book. I'm not saying he doesn't support it either, but their movie is called Second Opinion, the Sloan Kettering Laetrile cover-up. If you type that in to YouTube, it's still, believe it or not, let's see. Now, I always am surprised. Let's see. It's not listed in the top one. Wow. I'm not seeing it right now. So we do have it available. We do have it available.
Maybe Sarah's already working on this. Search on YouTube, Second Opinion. But maybe they got to it already.
Oh, there it is. Podcast. It's podcast number 155 with Marola. No, that was 9 years ago. Anyway, if you send us an email to contact@rncstore.com or go to our frequently asked questions, we'll send you an email with a link to it that's not associated. I think we put it up on Rumble. But isn't that funny? Well, it's time for us all to. I shouldn't say what I was about to say. It's time for us all to look for secondary sources of information. So when they cut us off from telling the truth, yeah, there you go. I like that. Well done, Christy Lee. Send an email to that. But please, if you're going to buy the product, make sure you get the discount code, because Christy negotiated you a discount code. And then we also support Christy's program. And we, as patriots and as people that want the truth, we need to support each other. And anybody watching your show or watching the replay of this needs to understand, if you don't support the people that you like, and instead you buy from Amazon or you go to YouTube all the time, like I just sent you to, you might find that it's not there
like
anymore.
We just sent you to, like I'm broadcasting a live on right now. But I'll tell you what, it has been so difficult to build this parallel economy and work within the constructs of what has now become communist China, I myself, I need to learn how to use the alternatives more effectively. So I will be posting all the interviews I've done today on Rumble soon. I'll make sure that I get it right on Rumble live along with everything else. But there's like multiple steps that you have to take to post live on Rumble along with everything else. So I'm working out all those kinks. I'm going to do it. But make sure that you do follow on other free speech friendly platforms. Twitter's good sometimes. Rumble, follow me on Rumble. And then you can always go to my website, KLIM.news. That stands for Christy Lee Independent Media, KLIM.news. You can also go to the same place, ChristyLeeTV.com, but I have an alternative because my name's a little tricky to spell for some people. So there on the bottom, you can find all the places to find me. But again, we're talking about something that nature gives us, something that God gives us. And I love the verse that you read earlier about him basically telling us, that he provided this to us. He's given us the gifts to help prevent illness and in some cases treat it. But of course we won't we won't come out and say that because we'll be taken off air. But so my purpose in this is I've never done a whole lot of in the space of advertising or sponsorships or anything like that. I'm only going to start working with people that have a greater message, that are wanting to take what God gives us and help people. I just had somebody else on the other day, and take it or leave it. I'm here saying I've done my homework on this, and I believe in taking what God has given us and arming ourselves with ways to stay healthy and support our immune systems, and in some ways treat diseases that the mainstream has told you are untradeable. And what harm is it to look for alternatives? And so that's my mission and my statement as far as that goes. Yeah. Do you have any? Go ahead.
Well, I just ask people to support those that are supporting them. Most of us on this side of the platforms care about the people that we're talking to, and I don't do this I don't do it for any other reason to keep the message out there. I would like to wipe out the C word in my lifetime. And we started an organization called Operation World Without C Word. And you type it out just that way to find it. It's not a for-profit endeavor. It's a gathering, a big net, bringing in everybody, left, right, middle, center, whatever. We can wipe out disease together just by knowing the truth. We don't have to follow what these people in charge are telling us to do. We can do this together and help each other financially and nutritionally. So you were going to ask me a question. And
I was just going to remind folks that I'm talking to you from rncstore.com. If you use the coupon code KL, you can get what we've been talking about today, apricot seeds, B17, and its ability to address so many issues, most of which we can't even say out loud. So we're coming up with creative ways like rhymes with dancer. I love dancing. The disease we're talking about rhymes with dancer. And this has been hidden from you for so long. And we're trying to get around keeping it hidden from you, because I'm sure this is something that affects everyone because it's become such a problem, because there's toxins in what we eat and around us. My goodness, it's like anybody knows a family member or a friend that has struggled with this. And so rather than wait for it to suddenly appear, let's make sure that our body has what it needs to give us the best chance at not having an issue with dancer.
Yeah. You saw the news. The king in England got it, and then he announced that he wasn't going to be using traditional medicine. He was going to be using now. I don't know. I have no speak of what that guy is, what his personal life is, or all the horrible things. But he's at least smart enough to realize that he's known it for a long time that the natural answers are better than the other ones. He's gotten in trouble for that in the past. But he announced that he wasn't going to be using orthodox medicine to treat his C word. And I don't know if that's a plan or what. I don't know. Like you say, it's hard to trust anybody. But we had that other country music singer that died very suddenly from schmancer, from dancer schmancer. So it's very much in the news. People don't wait till you get something. Don't jump off the bridge and then try to get a parachute. Answer it now. My dad told Ed Griffin will still say he's 93. Like I said, he was just on Alex Jones for an hour, and he's brilliant and speaking very well. And he's doing another conference, Red Pill Expo, which I would love to sponsor you to go to if that's a possibility, in South Dakota, on Father's Day. And he's still doing it, and he regularly eats apricot seeds. And he tells people he doesn't know anybody that's regularly eating for their life that's ever died of schmancer. And another guy I just recently interviewed, his name's Rick Hill. He got it when he was 23 years old, sent home to die from the Mayo Clinic, and he got a letter saying you've got terminal schmancer, and he's celebrating his 50th year being schmancer free in October of this year, believe it or not, using Laetrile, B17 and things like that. Again, not the saying that it works for everybody or that this is a CURE. I'm saying these are stories, thousands of them, they're out there. And I recommend people don't wait till you get something, make a change now.
Yeah, it's worth at least doing some homework on this. And of course, everyone's well aware of the disinformation campaigns that are now happening. Terrence Lee Berry just said that he heard a man cured his son with oxygen therapy. And that may be. The fact of the matter is there's not necessarily one solution to this disease that has made certain companies extremely rich, so there may be multiple ways of approaching it that are not the traditional way that can work and maybe even work more effectively. But the fact of the matter is you have to do your own homework, and you have to be aware that there's disinformation campaigns, which we've come to know and expect. And in particular, did you want to address the disinformation campaign on essentially B17 as a whole? They try and say that it can be toxic or something.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, the vitamin, the theory behind why you shouldn't use Laetrile is because there's cyanide in it. And that's a scare tactic, because in the early 70s, they told people they couldn't separate it in the lab, so it couldn't be used the way they did it. But that's exactly why it works. And if you understand you just saw me eat 10 seeds a little bit ago. I eat regularly more than that. The science behind it is that it's only released in the presence of an enzyme called beta glucosidase. And I'm going to tell you this story very quickly to the audience that's listening. The reason it works is because beta glucosidase is only found in a schmancer cell. So that's where it's found, and that's why it's released there. But if that was the only thing that happened, you could be afraid of it, because my gosh, if you eat a whole bunch of apricot seeds, you are going to, I apologize, if you eat a whole bunch of apricot seeds, you're going to have a bunch of cyanide floating around. Well, you have another enzyme called the protecting enzyme called rhodinase, and it's found in all your healthy cells. It's also found in fruits like apricots and apples. So that's why if you eat the apricot seeds or the apple seeds, they say you can cyanide poisoning. I've been doing this 30, 40 years. My dad's been doing it. We don't know of a credible story of anybody dying of cyanide poisoning from eating hundreds of apricot seeds. The Hunzas ate 200. Now, we don't recommend you do that right away. We recommend you start with 3 or 4 and build up to it. They're bitter. You're not going to want to do it. But at a trade show, I'll eat 100 of them, and all I get is energy. So I am not going to sit on here and tell someone to eat something that could potentially poison them. So that's a lie you're being told, and that could get us banned right now, because that's the one they use. It's dangerous to eat these. But just like cyanocobalamin, which is B12, there's a cyanide molecule in amygdalin. There's a cyanide molecule, 2 molecules of glucose, and 1 of benzaldehyde. Those are locked tightly together, not to be released unless they come in contact with beta glucosidase. So people are mentioning now ivermectin, oxygen therapy. There's soursop. There's high dose of vitamin C. All of these are fantastic things to help your immune system. I'm not sitting here saying that Laetrile or B17 is a silver bullet. I'm saying it's the most demonized, most effective natural treatment. So do all these things, but don't forget the B17. That's all I'm saying. It's cheap enough. It's not like some expensive thing. Even our most expensive system, which is a 90-day program, is like $150. It works out to about $1.50 a day for somebody that's really trying to get the most into them. And as compared to hundreds of thousands of dollars for chemotherapy, radiation, it blows my mind when people say, oh, I don't want to take apricot seeds because there might be cyanide poison, when they're willing to take literal poison in the form of chemotherapy that they think is going to fight. They've raised $2 trillion over the last 10 years for the fight against the schmancer word, and they're no closer now. Matter of fact, they're further from finding any CURE, and I don't think they ever will, because it's not a disease that can be cured. Cancer can't be cured. I can say that safely without being banned. That's the truth. It's only your immune system has the proper nutrition to fight it off. So whether it's oxygen, ivermectin, large doses of vitamin C, all of which have been shown to be effective at controlling it. You need these all together, as well as changing your diet, staying away from cigarettes and alcohol, even though those don't cause the C word. They make your immune system broken down. So there's a lot to learn. I am only an expert, I would say, on apricot seeds and the way it works and the history of it, but I am no doctor. I'm not treating people. I don't give people medical advice, even though they beg me for medical advice. I don't give that. I just tell people this is available, and these are the stories, and this is the information you can read. And we try to make as much of this stuff available as soon as we can get it printed and put it on the website and a discount. If you click on shop and you look for Dr. Richardson's, on the top of that, Christy, in the top row, it's very small on your screen, but if you see that word,
yeah, it's very small on my screen. I don't even think I can see it.
We didn't make those bigger.
Shop.
Next to home, yeah, shop. Then you go down to Dr. Richardson's library.
Is it right here?
Click on that, and then we have many of these books. Click on that, and then you have many of these books, pamphlets available for people to read on their own. I haven't edited any of these. These are letters and information directly that people have, and brochures that we've discovered. The book is sold out. My dad's book has been sold out for a year, and we've been trying to get it back on. But there's a lot of these things that we're finding that we're just binding, getting printed, and putting up. So as many people can get it as possible. You can get an electronic copy, or you can get a printed copy and read up yourself and find this information. Like I said, not edited, not written by me, not anything I'm producing. These are just things I'm giving people for their library. And it comes directly from this treasure trove of information that every week we're finding more. It's exciting times of getting this information out there.
Yeah. And as you know, it's like I did a segment a few weeks back about how the Associated Press and the Associated Press had like 4 different articles all in one day about the danger of essentially doing your own research. It's like they all got the same memo, though, because it was like Politico and The Hill. They all around the same time, like within a few days of each other, they all came out with articles about how dangerous it is to do your own research and beware of conspiracy theories and all this stuff. And so when you see a mass campaign like that, what does it tell you? Well, if you've been tuning in for any amount of time, you know that it usually means the opposite, right? So that's what we're asking you to do, is the opposite of what the mainstream regime media is telling you to do. They tell you not to do your own research. We're asking you to do the opposite of that. So, it truly could be life-saving information that is being kept from you. So we did our best to censor ourselves, because this is where we're at in today's society. And I mean, that's another thing. People are like, you should never play into their system and quit going on those platforms, because all they do is censor you, and then you're going to self-censor. But the thing is like, we're just trying to reach as many people as possible. Like I said, I'm going to do future episodes with John Richardson on free speech friendly platforms like Rumble. This is what I'm set up for today. And so while you're here, please make sure that you follow my channel on Rumble, KLIM News on Rumble, or you can search Christy Lee TV just about anywhere and find me on some of those more free speech friendly platforms. Certainly this is being hidden from many of you, but the right people are seeing it. That's what I am starting to come away with is, even if we just reach one person with the truth or one person with something that can help them, then we need to keep going. So that's what I'm going to do. Thank you, Terrence Lee. I appreciate it. Like I said, Even if it's just Terrence Lee, welcome. Thank you.
Well, welcome. And it's true, because, like if you go to church and you preach about Jesus Christ to everybody at church, you're kind of an echo chamber. And I agree both with you and both with Terrence or anybody else that recommends getting on the other platforms. You got to, in this world, we have to do both. And so I regularly go on TikTok live, and we have a TikTok shop, but some people say that's a communist Chinese platform. But guess what? I find more truth on TikTok a lot of times than I do anywhere else. Yes, it ended up getting banned, but I find out more truth originally because it's hard for them to stop it at the source. Like if I put a video up on TikTok and there's 1 billion videos, I might get watched by 1,000 people, and I affected those people. And I'm talking
before you got banned.
right before I got banned, and I'm talking to, and I'm not recommending exclusively go on TikTok. I definitely don't think exclusively being on Google. And Google's just controlled, it's completely controlled, and we know that, and we get shadow banned all the time. We try to advertise on Google, our store, and it just gets cut off. So you reach out every way you can. I go to conferences to talk to people that are on the left, right, and in between, and you'd be amazed at the people, once you convince someone that's always been convinced of the wrong way, and you bring them over to your side, they're even better than the people that we talk in our echo chambers. And you know what I mean, Christy.
No
If
kidding.
we're only talking to,
as you were talking, I was reminded that I just had a couple pastors on recently, and one of the pastors challenged me, and he was like, "Who in the Bible was the worst evangelist?" And I was like, "What?" And so I just like threw out, the Apostle Paul, because he was always talking about thorn in his side and whatever. And that's the first thing that came to my mind. And he's like, "No, Jesus." And I was like, "What?" But it was thought provoking, because he was saying that because he was so bold, and because he challenged people that you read the stories in the Bible of like people going and following him, but you don't, if you read it as a whole, like think of all the people that got turned away because they didn't want to hear his message. So in that sense, he was the worst evangelist. And so, I mean, I'm taking that to heart, and even what I feel called to do is continue to try and survive in the sphere of getting news out and getting truth out. And I may be the worst at doing it. I'm constantly thinking like, oh my gosh, people have such a better handle on this than I do. I'm former news anchor. I had a handle on that. I was award winning with that. And then this has been a struggle trying to figure out how to combat censorship and figuring out how to make this work as a business. But it reminds me that, I may be the worst at this, but if I reach a couple people, then great. I'm cool with that,
I would recommend, Christy, and here I am giving my little preaching ceremony, is you hook yourself up with people that support you, and never let, if John Richardson Jr. ever tells you what to say on your show, dump me as fast as you possibly can. Like, you have people out there that will support you in your mission by telling their stories truthfully and honestly. Those are the people you should lock arms with, because there are people out there that want to support you, that are patriots, that have good products that you can look into. And so I recommend that method rather than any other way. And then if you ever get somebody that's paying you so much that they can start telling you what to say on your show, that's the wrong guy. That's censorship in any manner or change. You say whatever you want about me anytime you believe it's true. And if I don't support you because of that, then I'm not a truth teller. I would rather have someone come back and say, "Hey, I tried your product and it didn't work," or "I tried this," because we've always had 100% money back guarantee. If someone says, "I tried it, it didn't make me feel what," it's very few and far between, because most people, it's wonderful, but we've always had 100% money back guarantee, and don't argue with the customer, and always support the customer. So with the same thing with who I support and the people I support. And I love sending money to patriots that help me tell the message, because that means we help. It's a win-win-win situation. Everybody that orders our product, I believe I'm changing their life for the better. And every time I send money to help somebody like you, you're changing life for better too. So I like this system, and that's the way I want to go forward. And other people have learned it. And I don't mean to keep bringing up Alex Jones, but he's learned he had to self-fund himself with products that he found that he believes in. Otherwise, he wouldn't still be doing it. If he had depended on sponsors that he didn't like, he would not be doing what he's doing anymore. He would have had to change his message. So there's lots of people out there doing it that way. And that's what I recommend, getting with good patriot sponsors that want to see your message continue.
Yeah. I mean, I've been in that test before. You can either be comfortable and secure and have all this money and we'll control you, or you can go down this road and have no security, much less money, if any. And I mean, and it seems like I keep on getting put into that situation. It's odd, but I don't necessarily do this happily. Like, it's not like I'm like happy about like, yes, I'm going to sell my Jeep and I'm going to downsize my home. It's not like I do this happily. I do it very often grumpily. But I mean, at the end of the day, I have to follow my integrity and do what's right. And
there is answers.
Yeah,
there is an answer. There is answers, and we're going to do that together. I give you my my firm belief that we will figure it out. It's just a new economy. We're gonna have to figure it out and do it for ourselves. They've taken 60 years to build their way, and there is so many people on our side, Christy, that want to support people and believe in people and want to support the right, that we just have to figure out how to match that all together. And so both Christine and I are committed to doing that and helping people, and we're figuring it out.
Yeah,
as we go.
we will figure it out, God willing. Yep. And that's the true hero in all of this. And that's the message that as long as I'm independent, I'm going to say what I want. And that's the message I feel I keep on coming back to, that what people really need more than anything is Christ. And I'm going to be bold about saying that. And I'm going to share that with people more often with the news, because none of anything matters if we're not here to glorify God and reach souls for Christ. So, that's me uncensored as far as that goes. But thank you, John Richardson, for bringing the Bible into this discussion. Fascinating. Can you share that verse one more time before we say goodbye?
Yeah, it's the verse itself is Genesis 1, verse 29, and I'll say it again. And God said, "Behold, I have given you every plant yielding seed that is on the face of all the earth, and every tree with seed in its fruit. You shall have them for food." And that many people have realized that seeds are they will grow a tree. An apricot seed will grow a tree. Imagine that, and produce fruit. And so God created apricot seeds, chia seeds, hemp seeds, flax seeds, all these wonderful seeds that, we've barley and all these things we can use for food. That it's obvious right there. I believe that God created a plant for every disease. I truly do. I don't believe there's any diseases that we catch or that that are genetics. Maybe autism, or maybe something like even that is a question. But I believe there's a natural nutritional answer to everything. I don't take any pharmaceuticals, never will. And I can tell you, none of my kids have ever been vaccinated. I have 11 healthy kids. From college athletes, great, state winning champion athletes, never been vaccinated. So we don't need big pharma and even though that'll chance to get us be banned, we don't need it. God's provided all the nutrition we need. He really has. All we have to do is seek it out and find it, and don't go down that path, because once they get you started on that, they continue. They just keep adding them.
Yeah.
Anybody my age usually is
it doesn't. I mean, I think the one thing that you can say without getting banned or censored, but we'll see after this goes out. But one thing that you can always say is, and just apart from anything, is that you don't make money from healing someone, because then they're no longer a customer, if you will. Yep. And you just need to sit
But we can't change that. Here's how we change it. I have friends and doctors are doing it. Dr. Simone Gold is starting Gold Healthcare, and they're charging a monthly subscription fee that's less than insurance. And they're teaching people, doctors, MDs. I'm doing a podcast with 5,000 MDs. They're teaching these doctors who used to prescribe pharmaceuticals how to talk to people about nutrition, and people are willing to pay them monthly. And it's a new medium. It's a new way. I know other people, and I don't want to shout out names specifically, but I know other people that just charge a monthly membership fee for their nutritional education. And they tell me, John, I'm making more money than I can spend. I have more customers than I can do. And I don't have to charge people tens of thousands of dollars. I don't have insurance companies taking their piece and making us choose things that hurt people over things that help people because it's covered by their insurance. How ridiculous. There's insurance systems out there that help people pay for things that are good for them, not just pharmaceuticals, not just surgery. So let's open up our minds, and it's a new economy, a new world. We can make a difference. We really can.
Absolutely. And again, if you can't find me later because they've come after me, please go to my website. It's actually under construction right now, but you can still fill out the form so I can get your email and let you know where I'm at next. But it's under construction because frankly, I want it to look better. It's kind of not looking very pretty right now, but it's still active and everything. KLIM.
Is it ChristyLee.com?
It's
Is it
ChristyLeeTV.com, or people, it's the same website, or people can go to KLIM, which stands for Christy Lee Independent Media, KLIM.news, and fill out the form there so that I can let you know my Rumble channel and all that good stuff. Lots of back work in building this parallel economy and being fully embracing independence. So I do appreciate
I'm going to send this out to my entire list of followers, this podcast, with your link to the store, which I always do. And I'm going to tell everybody to follow you in the email I send out, and I'll send you a copy of it. So as soon as I can sign up, I will too. But I'm going to put my money where my mouth is and send this out to all my followers.
It's actually running on the bottom. Follow Christy Lee TV on locals, blah, blah, blah. But here is the website that's, I think, should be very easy for people to plug in there. Let me see.
It's funny. I just tried to sign up for TV. I just tried to sign up for it. There it is. Okay. So I'm going to sign up for it, and I'm going to put my money where my mouth is and send you out to all my subscribers. We're trying to build a list of 150,000 subscribers by the second quarter of this year. And we're going to keep growing and sending out information. We send out this when we find these new things to let people know about it, because we want to spread this information far and wide. So.
All right. Well, thank you, John. We went on much longer than I anticipated we would. We'll welcome you back again. Make sure you all follow my Rumble channel and other free speech friendly alternatives, my website, so I can keep on getting information out to you in case they shut me down. But I appreciate John for joining me today. You can go to KLIM.news that you see there on your screen. It stands for Christy Lee Independent Media. Throw your email in there so I can keep you updated. A lot of groundwork that I'm doing right now. So thank you again for watching, and I'll see you probably in another couple hours, because like I said, I have a lot of interviews today. But thank you for sticking with me, and I'll chat at you later.